That may have been the worst dinner I've ever had in my life. Sorry. So it's Halloween this week, and to celebrate, I figured we'd do something a little different today. Most people in my position probably take this time to just rattle off a bunch of really good horror comics you should be reading. Rachel Rising, Swamp Thing, Tomb of Dracula, American Vampire, Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, From Hell. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to talk about one of the best Batman stories ever written, The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Taking place during the beginning of Batman's career, The Long Halloween recounts the year-long hunt to try and stop the Holiday Killer, and the lengths that Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent will go to in order to bring justice to Gotham City. The lengths Batman, Jim Gordon, and Harvey Dent will go to bring justice to Gotham. Where have I heard that before? Now, I'm not going to go over the whole story, because this book is really f***ing long. Seriously, do you see how thick this is? I mean, you could kill a small rodent with this book. Instead, I'm just going to talk about the first chapter. And even though that starts in June, the most important event happens on Halloween night. As soon as the book begins, you get a clear sense of exactly the kind of story Loeb and Sale are trying to tell. They wanted to create basically the Godfather in Gotham City, and that's exactly what they've accomplished here. Several shots from the beginning at the Falcone party look like they were taken directly from the Godfather. From the scene where they're taking pictures, even the scene in the beginning where Bruce Wayne is meeting Carmine Falcone for the first time. With the heavy use of blacks and shadows here, Tim Sale is able to recreate the look and feel of the Coppola movies, while still being a book where superheroes and supervillains can exist, and exist believably. And when Batman and Catwoman do show up, they're the first two costume characters we meet in the story. It doesn't seem out of place or silly or forced, it just seems natural. Although Catwoman looks pretty silly. I mean, she's got mouse ears for sake. Also, Batman himself is shown completely in shadow for most of the book. Hell, you only really see his mouth in about maybe 7 panels. Yeah, I counted. And yet the way Sale depicts him, you always get a clear sense of where he is physically and also the presence he creates all around you. Because there is a difference. Like, take this panel here. All we see are his eyes and nose, and yet we can still see his face clearly. And we still get the sense that all that black is the presence he's creating in the room. And Jeff Loeb's writing is able to create the perfect noir world that isn't too noir, if that makes any sense. By the way, if you want to see what Batman's like when he's too noir, check out Broken City by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo. Actually, don't. It's not that good. Anyway, back on track. Loeb's dialogue is never too cartoony unless it has to be. And when it is, it's only to show someone as a weasel or a fool. Everyone else talks naturally in the way you would expect them to talk. Also, I must mention Harvey Dent and Jim Gordon. The first chapter shows us two men who clearly put way too much energy into their jobs. We see them working late, coming home late. In Harvey Dent's case, he actually goes to Falcone's party at great risk to himself physically. And you could see that their wives just can't take it anymore. You get a clear sense, especially with Harvey Dent's wife, that the next phone call they get could be the one that says, your husband is dead. And this chapter brings us the famous scene where all three men are meeting on top of the Gotham City Police Department, and Loeb shows us exactly where they fall on the spectrum of justice, and that becomes important as the story progresses. Finally, this chapter sets up the first holiday killing. One of Carmine Falcone's nephews is shot dead on Halloween night in his bathtub. Why? We don't know. We'll have to tune in next month. See, that's how they get you. You think TV popularized this serialized storytelling cliffhanger bullshit? Keep in mind that this is just the first issue, and yet it builds this world so vividly and creatively that it could almost be a story unto itself. This is almost the perfect first chapter. It shows you everything it wants to show you, and just gives you a little taste of what's to come. And that little taste is so good you want to see where it goes. Also, that crack about the Dark Knight cribbing from this book really wasn't a joke. The filmmakers have acknowledged that this was a big influence on them, and certain moments like the rooftop scene, a couple lines of dialogue, and the scene where they burn the money are all taken from this book. Although the money scene, the context is very different. Anyway, I think I've set this book up enough. Go get it. It's still in print, and you can get it on any digital platform. I hope I piqued your interest. Maybe next month I'll do the next chapter for the next holiday. Let me know if you want me to do that in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Pick up Ninja Turtles this week. Happy Halloween! Okay, so 3 major bits of comic book news happened today. So this is an emergency episode. If it seems a little slipshod or unpolished or whatever, too bad. I'm doing this, fly by the seat of my pants, however that phrase goes.